Welcome back to Microsoft Build Live. There are so many amazing sessions in store today, and right now I'm about to share what's new in Microsoft Teams. So with me here is Sharad. Sharad, I don't want to take away your glory here, so please introduce yourself and what you do for Microsoft.
Thanks for having me here, Jace. My team is responsible for building the developer platform for Teams, and one of the key things that we have noticed is that customers really want to use Teams as the hub for collaboration and communication, and being able to bring these Microsoft applications, partner applications, and customer applications inside of Microsoft Teams has to be the center for us. And so my team empowers all of that experience.
Awesome. So your team's empowering exactly what you just mentioned, the ability for customers and partners to, if I can summarize, essentially bring their solutions to life inside of Teams. In the near term, what are you guys focused on?
So, that's a great question. We have a lot of things that we're looking at but it starts at the center, which is the customer. And what we want to be able to do is we want customers to be able to bring their services, their integrations into Microsoft Teams. And we want to empower them to be able to do their business workflows, being able to do their actions inside of Microsoft Teams. And so it starts at that and building the right set of platform capabilities to enhance the experiences that they have. And then if you sort of expand out from them, we think about how do we get the developers the right tool set for them to be able to integrate, whether that's using Graph or using our SDKs to be able to do that. And then from a customer standpoint, there's the end users, and then there's the IT admins. And we want to make sure that the IT admins feel comfortable about which applications are available to their end users. Do they have the right compliance requirements? Do they meet the right data boundaries, the retention, the e-discovery aspect of it? And being able to control that through policies and being able to look at what's happening inside those applications. So I think that's sort of the framework that we think about, and all those investments are important for us.
Awesome. I appreciate that. Now, from a Microsoft Teams perspective, we announced a bunch of goodness this week. Can you kind of give us the high-level rundown of all that we announced and then what we're enabling for those specific personas you just mentioned?
Yeah, totally. So we actually we're investing continually in all those three buckets that I talked about. So first one is just enhancing the customer experiences. So there's a lot of features that we announced at Build this time around where we're able to do message actions inside of messages. So if I'm in a conversation, if I'm in a chat, I can quickly do those message actions. Being able to share new adaptive cards inside of chats. So if I'm having a one-on-one chat with you or a group chat with somebody, being able to bring that content in right in that context is super important. We showed an example of Disco in one of the keynotes of how I was able to quickly send kudos into a conversation. So those kind of capabilities are what we're excited about and being able to expand on top of that. And then from a developer standpoint, we're opening up the SDKs a little bit more. We're opening up the Graph API. So now you can manage Teams through Graph APIs, the Shifts APIs that we announced at Build. And also the ability for you to get access to additional information, messages, and so forth, so you can really automate your business workflows. And then on the customer side, we're also we announced the policies where IT admins can go in and actually use set of policies to say, I want these applications for these set of users. And also, in order for them to feel more comfortable about the third-party integrations that they're bringing in, we announced a certification pilot where developers can now go in and actually say that my application meets these guidelines and these regulations so that the customer can have full view of that. And then from a developer standpoint, we're also making sure that developers can easily submit applications inside our platform. So we've integrated with Partner Center. So that'll be the one-stop shop for all developers. They can bring a Teams application, submit it through the Partner Center. They can create offers inside it. So now if you think about it from a partner standpoint, you can really create your SaaS-based offerings inside and say, this is what I want to be able to offer to the customers. And then the customers can go purchase those as subscriptions. And then we go and deploy those through IT admins, policies, and setup. So I think that's fundamentally a big shift in how you really create Teams as a hub for collaboration and communication.
I think that's a game changer for a lot of our partners right there as well, right? Something that we uniquely offer for the market is that ability to go in and, again, not only build something on a great product that's got huge momentum inside of our ecosystem of customers and partners, but also to monetize that solution at some point, right?
Yeah, if you think about even the history of Microsoft, we have always been platform-centric. We want to make sure that the products that we offer to our customers allow the extensibility aspect of it, and developers and our partners love that aspect, that they can now come in and actually create a healthy ecosystem behind it. And creating a business model is super important for us because we don't want our partners to feel that they're offering their services for free. We want them to have a ramp where they can say, oh, no, I can actually provide value to our customers while also having a healthy business model and ecosystem behind it.
Absolutely. So I selfishly asked some of the folks on your team to give you a question that you would enjoy hearing. And they told me to ask you about private channels. For everybody in the audience, we're getting asked about private channels quite a bit in Microsoft Teams. So what's your take on private channels?
Private channels, I knew there were a couple of curveballs you're going to throw my way. Private channels is definitely an area that we want to continue to invest in. So we've heard time and time again from customers that, yes, the concept of team and having concept of public channels is great. I can share content inside those channels, but there are times where I want to have a private channel inside of that team. I want to share content only to a certain set of members. We believe that we should allow customers to be able to collaborate and communicate in any way they want, and we want to give you all the extensibility capabilities that we have in any channel inside private channels. So totally, that's one of the things that we have as a promise, that we want to make sure that you can access all your services, all your integrations, all your cards inside private channels. So that's what's coming soon.
So I was just looking through a couple of notes that I had here, just from the stuff that we've been hearing this week at the booth. One of them is around verticals. A lot of customers are asking us for solutions around their specific industries. Can you talk to me about where you're investing from a platform perspective there in Teams?
It's a great question. So one of the big momentum that we have for Microsoft Teams is to be able to go and tailor solutions and integrations specifically for certain verticals. So whether it's healthcare, retail, manufacturing, EDU, being able to focus your workflows and your business processes and integrating deeply inside it, that's fundamentally shifting the way how people think about transforming their work. And so our capabilities today, the way we're exposing them, there's a common set of things that you can enable in each of these verticals, whether that's workflow automation, or whether that's being able to share rich cards inside of these canvases, or being able to share content using our tab model, where I can send you quickly a PowerPoint document, or I can send you a Trello board, because now you and I can interact on it. So the adaptability and the flexibility of the platform, you can take the vertical sort of depth and apply that using the platform capabilities that we have. And I think that's going to be a fundamental shift for us in terms of how customers think about how they can streamline their business process and get more productive and effective.
That's awesome. Now, on a similar note, I recognize that Build is traditionally a developer conference, but we know there's also a lot of IT professionals who are here, right, in various respects. And a lot of what we announced this week is very important and impactful for that part of most of our customers' organizations. Can you dive a little bit deeper into, I'm thinking of things that we announced, such as application certifications and the initial launch of that, discoverability and manageability of applications, whether they were built by your organization or partners. What we dive maybe a little bit deeper into what we announced this week and what we're enabling.
Okay, great. So when we talk about customers, we talk about the end users, but a significant component for us is the IT admins who manage those applications and service integration. As an IT admin for a company, I want to be careful about, I want to make sure that the applications that I'm enabling for my end users have the right compliance, have the right security guidelines and privacy requirements that they're being met, whether that's industry specific like HIPAA compliance, or whether that's just compliance in terms of my own company's policies. Also from an e-discovery perspective, data retention, all of those are very critical for our customers. So for the things that Microsoft has built, we give you that out of the box, where all our application services just work with those capabilities. We want to make sure that the IT admins have visibility into all the other integrations that they're enabling, what our partners are exposing to them. And for that, we're enabling policies for our IT admins to be able to take a look at those applications and being able to pin those applications and enable those for specific users. The other part of it is, how do we make sure that the IT admins have visibility into how that data is being retained, what compliance guidelines are being met. And so for that, we announced the application certification pilot, where it's a self-assessment program, self-attestation program, where developers and partners can go in and say, here's the things that I meet, here are the things that I do not meet, and it's a standard way of them communicating this information to the IT admin. So then the IT admins and the customers can take a look at those and say, and then they can make the decision on whether they want to enable the application or not enable the application, and what's the risk profile associated to that.
This is great. I work on the marketing team, of course, with you guys quite a bit, and it's fascinating hearing the feedback we're getting from these announcements this week, because so many organizations are taking these investments they've made internally and bringing them into Teams. But this enhanced discoverability, manageability, whatever you'd like to call it, is actually significantly improving the experience. We're hearing from customers now on, this is actually driving their natural and organic adoption of Teams. So what you guys are doing is just fantastic. And
great, thanks. When I was at the booths this week, that's been the key ask and the key sort of feedback that we've gotten from our customers is it's amazing to be able to take these integration and services that were all fragmented and disjointed before. I think that's the beauty of Teams, is that before, the end user or the customer had to go in and say, I have a tool or a service on this side, and I have a tool and service on this side, and I'm the person who's trying to create the relationship between those two. With Microsoft Teams, what you have is the ability to take these disjointed, fragmented systems and bring them into a single hub. And with the ability to have tabs and message actions and cards and workflow automation and business processes inside of Teams, on top of a layer of chats, calling, meetings, being able to take Microsoft applications, OneNote Planner, Excel, all of those, that I think is foundational of how we want customers to think about we're changing the digital sort of workplace and how they collaborate and communicate inside that.
Well, I mean, you touched on a really good point. When you talk about all the extensibility features of Teams, Disco is one of the partners that we showed on stage this week in multiple fashions. But Disco, and you mentioned them earlier, but Disco talks about the beauty of the extensibility that you are literally enabling for partners and customers is multiple entry points into the end user.
Yes.
Because millennials might want to interact with a bot, but not everybody else in the organization maybe feels the same way. So how do you reach them in the way that's most comfortable for them, right? And I'm assuming that's how you're thinking about this.
But totally. For us, when we think about the bot framework, it's a means to an end.
Yeah.
And being able to use bot as a mechanism to share cards and share rich content and automate workflows, that is a mechanism to do that inside the workflow. So for us, our focus has been how do we make the end user not even think about, oh, I'm interacting with a bot or I'm interacting with some backend tech stack. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to share a rich card with you. Or if I just want you to approve one of my expense reports, all I have to do is use one of my message extensions, which you're comfortable using on your smartphone today. Like if I want to send you some payment in a mobile phone, I know how to do that. We want you to think about it the same way in a very similar manner where I can quickly send an approval request to you while I'm in the conversation with you. And so our ability to expose all of those experiences in a single a single shell, that's what's powering the transformation, because then end users can kind of go, okay, I can get my stuff done in a completely new way, in a better way than I was able to do that before.
What I thought was really fascinating is we, as you know, we had Dentsu, one of our customers, in the keynote Rajesh did on a Monday. And what they spoke about, you didn't see in the video, but everybody will see here soon, is that what you guys have enabled allowed them to first harness shadow IT, so all of those disparate tools and solutions they have sitting around the organization. But they noticed when people started actually using Teams and seeing the power and everything that you just mentioned, it started to reduce the shadow IT outside of IT and in the organization for them and really start to bring together the vision that you just painted. So it's just fascinating hearing it from that perspective from the customers is quite literally what you're developing is helping them reduce that pain of shadow IT in their organizations and manage it better.
It totally is. I mean, at the core, the ability to actually take these decisions and actions in context has been super important for our customers. And being able to have the transparency of that communication, being able to show how I can get access to the content that I want. I don't have to figure out how to get access to this tool that was sitting on the side or some application on the side. It's all available to you inside of Teams. I don't have to step outside of Teams to find that sales record or finding that bug that I was working on, or being able to look at some defect that I'm working on for some turbine, right? So I have access to all of that information in line, and I can take action and approve things, and I can change things inside of Teams. One of the other aspects that I do want to also touch about, which is important for us from Microsoft Teams, and you talk about Disco a little bit, is the inclusive behavior that Teams is driving. The ability for us to drive better fostering of relationship inside of Teams. So Disco is one of the partners that does that, using their kudos mechanism, where they are reinforcing your company values. And then using that as a mechanism to foster that, I think is super important, because as we get into this more real-time, transparent communication, being able to foster that relationship using these extensible capabilities is a critical component of Microsoft Teams as well.
I'm actually so glad you brought this up, because I think normally at Build we might think this is traditionally too soft of a topic to bring up, but frankly, I think it's never been more transparent today, this intersection between cultural transformation and digital transformation, for lack of a better term, right? And the divide that we have to bring together, a lot of organizations, and harness that technology in order to bring out these values. So it's awesome to hear these specific use cases and examples that you're hearing from customers. What are you most excited about, though? So much is going on, and we hear from a lot of our partners that what's so cool about Teams is just we're adding new documentation and new extensibility features every day, but what gets you most excited?
What gets me most excited about is just the ability to be able to do my conversations and my actions and my content in line, and being able to that I don't have to go to 20 different places to get my work done. And I think it's sort of I'm taking a cop-out sort of answer, because I'm not answering your direct question about one feature versus that feature, because I don't think it's about one feature versus another feature. I think it's a whole ecosystem that we're enabling. I can't express the passionate conversation that I had in some of the booth conversation where customers and partners walked over, where they said, they were just blown away with the fact that they can take all of these different services, all these different integrations, and they can do that right in line inside of Teams. And they can take the existing investments that they've already made, whether that's a website that they built, whether that's a Power App that they built, a SharePoint web part that they built, or some bot investments that they've made. They can take all of those and they can bring that directly inside of Teams, because we're not doing anything bespoke. It's all open standards. It's all, the tools and chains are already available to you. And we're making it super simple for our developers by publishing samples on GitHub, by being able to do these app templates that we also announced, where you can take the code that we wrote, and we've open sourced that. You can take that code, you can modify you want, or you can publish that inside your customer solution, and then you're good to go. So I think that is what excites me, is this digital transformation with all the scaffolding that we have built around Microsoft
That's
Teams.
way better of an answer than I could have expected. So thanks, Sharad. Really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining me today up here. So we're going to take a quick break, but we'll be right back with more live from Build. Mixed reality and Unreal is next. Stay with us.